Chapter 1. The Arrival. As the heavy steel gates creaked open, a rush of cold air filled Jake's lungs, mingling with fear and anticipation. Today marked his first day in this maximum security prison, a place that felt like a labyrinth of despair and lost hopes. The distant clang of steel doors echoed ominously as he shuffled through the intake process, flanked by stern guards and the unsettling glances of hardened inmates. Jake glanced around the stark environment, where the concrete walls bore witness to countless stories of pain and resilience. He met the diverse faces of his fellow inmates, a former teacher with haunted eyes, a stoic gang member radiating gritty strength, and a drug addict whose artistic dreams flickered like a candle in the dark. These initial encounters left Jake acutely aware of his vulnerability, yet ignited a fierce determination within him, a resolve to rewrite his narrative, even behind bars. Chapter 2. The Clank of Steel. As the heavy metal door swings open, Jake is met with an overwhelming symphony of sounds: the sharp clank of steel, the bellowing commands of guards, and the murmurs of inmates. The intake process feels like a blur of faces and numbers, each echoing in his mind like the harsh beat of a prison drum. The stark fluorescent lights cast an unforgiving glare, amplifying his anxiety as he waits in line, stripped of his past life. Through his internal monologue, Jake voices his deepest fears, the uncertainty of what lies ahead and the haunting weight of guilt from his past mistakes. Yet, amidst the chaos, a flicker of hope ignites within him. He silently vows to transform himself, to rise above this bleak existence. As he approaches the front of the line, the steel bars seem less like a trap and more like a crucible, ready to forge the man he hopes to become. Chapter 3. Survival Instincts. As days blur into routine, Jake finds himself immersed in the labyrinth of prison dynamics. Surrounded by hardened faces, he learns quickly that survival hinges on understanding unspoken rules. His keen observations reveal a pecking order where alliances can mean life or death. He introduces himself to Frank, a former criminal defense attorney turned inmate, who becomes his unlikely ally. Together, they navigate the treacherous landscape, exchanging whispers of advice and stories of survival. Jake recalls the tension in the air during mealtimes, where power plays unfold over cafeteria trays. He understands the necessity of forging connections. He starts joining group discussions with other inmates, slowly earning their respect. Each shared story brings him closer to grasping the realities that led them all here. Through determination and vulnerability, Jake begins to carve out a space for himself, realizing that trust may be his most potent weapon in this unforgiving environment. Chapter 4. Vulnerability and Strength. The first night in his cell felt surreal. As Jake lay on the thin mattress, the cold metal bars felt both confining and oddly secure. Shadows danced on the walls, amplifying his fears of the unknown. He could hear the muffled voices of other inmates echoing through the corridor, each one a reminder of the daunting reality he faced. Amidst the clamor of uncertainty, he grappled with feelings of deep vulnerability. How did he end up here? Tears threatened to escape, but Jake fought them back, realizing that this was a crucible for strength. In those silent moments, he confronted his past failures and unmade dreams. The overwhelming weight of regret pressed on his chest, but within it, a flicker of determination ignited. He resolved to transform his fear into resilience, understanding that surviving this journey required embracing his vulnerabilities as stepping stones toward rebuilding his life. The next morning he would face the world, not just as an inmate, but as a man seeking redemption. Chapter 5. Bonds Beyond Bars. As the days blur into weeks, Jake begins to form unexpected friendships with fellow inmates, a lifeline in the isolating world of prison. In the small, dusty classroom, amid the harsh fluorescent lights, walls adorned with faded motivational posters, they share stories that unveil their humanity. There's Marcus, a former high school teacher whose wisdom cuts through the hardened facades, and Lena, a talented painter whose creative spirit inspires everyone around her. In these shared moments, laughter replaces the earlier trepidation, and bonds deepen as they delve into personal struggles and dreams. The ambience is filled with the sound of pencils scratching against paper and the occasional chuckle from the back of the room. Each story unfolds like a thread weaving them closer, They are no longer just inmates, but comrades seeking solace and purpose. Together, they learn that true strength lies in vulnerability and connection, a discovery that transforms their bleak surroundings into a nurturing community. Chapter 6: The Power of Dreams. In the dimly lit classroom, excitement buzzed in the air as the prison introduced art therapy, a lifeline for many inmates who felt lost. For Jake, the workshop felt like a door opening to a world he thought was closed forever. As he picked up a paintbrush, memories of his childhood passion for art flooded back, igniting a flicker of hope within him. The sound of paint swirling and brushes scraping across canvas filled the room, drowning out the oppressive atmosphere of confinement. In these moments, Jake began to share his aspirations, a dream of creating a mural that reflected their collective struggles and triumphs. He found camaraderie with fellow inmates, each wielding their creativity to express stories long silenced. As laughter and encouragement echoed among the group, Jake realized that art could transcend the steel bars around them, allowing their dreams to take flight amidst a harsh reality. Chapter 7: A Tragic Turning Point. The prison atmosphere shifted like a storm cloud when news of an inmate's death circulated through the blocks. A gang-related incident had escalated beyond control, leaving a void that echoed in the hearts of those left behind. As Jake sat on his cot, grappling with shock, the stark reality hit him. Life in prison could be extinguished in an instant. He curled up in his diary, writing fiercely about the fragility of life and how, until that moment, he had taken his own existence for granted. The sounds of mourning reverberated through the prison walls, punctuated by hushed conversations and distant sobs, as mates shared their sorrow. This tragedy ignited a spark within Jake. He realized that change was urgent, not only for himself, but for his fellow inmates. The looming question of legacy flickered in his mind. Could he emerge from this dark place, not just alive, but transformed? Chapter 8: Searching for Meaning. As Jake sat in the therapy room, the sterile walls seemed to close in around him, yet he felt an unexpected release within. Each session peeled away layers of shame and regret, exposing the raw truths he had buried for years. The therapist guided him through discussions about his dysfunctional family and the choices that led him to this maximum security prison. In these moments of vulnerability, Jake discovered the power of his own voice. Writing became his catharsis. Each diary entry allowed him to confront his demons, transforming his pain into insight. He penned down not just his regrets, but also glimpses of hope, imagining a future where he could forgive himself and rebuild his life. The sound of pen on paper echoed in the quiet room, symbolizing the beginning of a profound inner journey, a quest for redemption that illuminated the path ahead amid the darkness. Chapter 9: Community and Change. As the days passed, the introduction of rehabilitation programs began to transform the prison environment. Classes on vocational training ignited a newfound sense of purpose among the inmates. Jake found himself drawn to the woodworking course, where he could channel his frustrations into creating something tangible. Surrounded by fellow inmates, he realized that each shared aspiration fostered a deeper sense of camaraderie. Jake stepped into a leadership role, organizing study groups and encouraging others to pursue their passions. The once tensioned cell block buzzed with energy as discussions about dreams replaced whispers of despair. In his diary, Jake reflected on the power of community, noting how unity became a lifeline in the unforgiving atmosphere. The sound of laughter and the clinking of tools filled the air, symbolizing hope blossoming amidst despair. Through this collective effort, inmates began to reclaim their identities and, for the first time, envision a future beyond bars. Chapter 10: Showcasing Talents. As the day of the talent show approached, a palpable sense of excitement buzzed through the prison halls. Inmates gathered in the common area, discussing their acts and supporting one another in preparation. Jake took a lead role, organizing rehearsals and encouraging shy performers to step into the spotlight. He worked closely with Carlos, a former gang member with a stunning voice, and May, a talented guitarist who had rediscovered her passion for music. The diverse talents displayed, comedy, poetry, and music, transcended the prison's grim atmosphere, allowing everyone to showcase their individuality. On the night of the performance, the cafeteria transformed into a makeshift stage, filled with enthusiastic cheers and applause. The energy was electric as inmates united in celebration, temporarily shedding their labels and pasts. In that moment, Jake felt a profound sense of belonging and purpose, realizing that creativity and connection offered a glimpse of hope beyond bars. Chapter 11. Faces from the Past. As Jake sits in the visiting room, the tension in the air becomes palpable. The bright fluorescent lights cast harsh shadows, echoing the complexities of his emotions. His mother's familiar face breaks through the somber atmosphere, a blend of warmth and regret. Their embrace is filled with unspoken words, a longing for connection tangled with a history of disappointment. During their hour together, they share tentative smiles, but the conversation inevitably turns to the past. Jake grapples with the shame of his choices, realizing that his actions have haunted not just him, but those who love him. As they discuss the future, tears soften the edges of their dialogue. His mother expresses hope, yet her worries linger in her eyes. Jake feels a surge of determination as he resolves to mend their fractured relationship. This visit crystallizes the bittersweet nature of his journey. The pain of yesterday fuels the drive to create a better tomorrow. Chapter 12. Hope on the Horizon. As the clock ticks down to his release, anticipation and anxiety swirl within Jake. Each day feels heavier, a poignant reminder of the countless hours spent within concrete walls. He reflects on the lessons learned, the friendships forged, and the dreams reignited amid the harsh realities of prison life. Jake's diary entries echo with hopes for a future filled with purpose, yet he grapples with the fear of societal judgment and the temptation to revert to old habits. He meticulously maps out a plan, a job search, reconnecting with family, and pursuing further education. The thought of stepping into the outside world fills him with both excitement and dread. Will he fit in? Will he be welcomed back? As he stands before the barred door that will soon swing open, Jake takes a deep breath, allowing feelings of hope to wash over him. He is resolved to embrace freedom, knowing redemption is not just a destination, but a lifelong journey. Chapter 13. Emotional Departure. As Jake counts down his final days in prison, emotions swirl like the falling leaves outside. The stark reality of his impending release overwhelms him, excitement tinged with anxiety. Memories of laughter shared and lessons learned with fellow inmates tug at his heart, reminding him of the bonds forged in adversity. Each moment feels bittersweet. He stands at the threshold of freedom, but leaving behind this makeshift family weighs heavily on his soul. On his last day, Jake walks the familiar corridors, the echoes of his footsteps resonating like a final farewell. He gathers with friends to share heartfelt goodbyes, exchanging promises to stay connected. Tears and laughter intermingle, a poignant reminder of their shared struggles and aspirations. As the steel gates open to the outside world, Jake feels a surge of hope and trepidation. The journey ahead is uncertain, but he is ready to embrace it, carrying the lessons of resilience and friendship in his heart.